Today we're doing beef shorties in the slow cooker. Typically you do these over a 6-7 hour period. Sometimes you just don't have enough time to do that. So we're going to cook them hot and fast today. We're going to nail this in about 3 to 3.5 hours on the smoker, and we'll see how we go. These will turn out awesome. Get that off. Some of the bits you might have quite clean, some of the bits might be quite fatty. Some might actually have a layer of fat, then an extra layer of meat. We don't want that extra layer of meat for these. We just want that first layer straight on the bone. Nothing extra on this one. Put a couple of little scores across in the membrane underneath. Leave it on, there's no need to take it off. Just put some scoring in it. Alright, now you can keep this pretty simple. I'd like to use a couple of things here. Just the go-to SPG, so salt, pepper and garlic, pretty normal go-to for any sort of meats that you're doing. It's the one we use all the time. We use a little bit of this one as well, T-Rub by Coast and Smoke. Gives a real umami flavour to the meat. If you like your meats really rich, it's a real fine powder. Yeah, we use that, it's fantastic. So be quite generous with your salt, pepper and garlic. Get it over the lot and try not to make it clumpy. We're not going to rub this in, we're just going to sprinkle it on, give it a bit of a pat just to embed that in there. We're not going to rub it because we don't want to pull it from side to side. We're going to get that completely over there. We're going to make sure we get the edges as well. So all round. Edges done. And try and get any of that left over that's on your chopping board. Use that. Just a light covering on the bottom. So quite generous. So that's the salt, pepper and garlic. You don't have to do this one, we just like it here, so just a little umami T-Rub. We're just going to give that a real light dusting. You don't need much of this, it's pretty strong stuff. It's got a real rich, meaty mushroom sort of a scent to it, but it really brings out that flavour of the meat. So that's it. We're going to get the smoker set now. That's ready to go. We'll leave that setting probably only for about 10 or 15 minutes until the smoker comes up to temperature, and then we'll throw it straight on. So we're going to be using the Masterbuilt 1050 offset smoker today. Really cool, and I probably recommend this for people who are just starting out. It's got a gravity fed hopper down the side, so chuck your charcoal on the top. Super easy, put it in there. It's got a little hot box down the bottom with your little collector. So light it there, it's all fan force. So a really cool thing about it is set your temperature, and it'll just maintain that temperature. Now, a lot of the guys have said you're a cheat. That's not how real smoking a barbecue is. Do I care? Not even a little bit. This works perfect every single time. So if you're starting, there's a couple of different sizes of these. Probably can't recommend it enough. Get yourself a Masterbuilt. Works perfect every day. 1050's got a really good cooking area. What we're going to do today, we're going to cook on the second rack. So we've only got a 3-bone shorty, so we're just going to use this one here. So we're going to do a hot and fast. First 2 hours we're going to cook at 180 degrees. It is quite hot, but it's going to work out really, really well. We're going to do them as is, give it a little bit of a spritz, 2 hours, and then we'll come back and address it. So let's go get the meat. Just going to show you. Just made up a quick spritz. We'll use that in a second. Most people use apple cider vinegar. I like to use apple cider vinegar, lemonade, and a little bit of beer, so that in thirds. That works perfect for us. And today we're going to use a bit of mesquite wood. Now I like to soak mine in a little bit of water for starters. I don't really want it flaming up, I just want it to smoke, and if it smokes a bit longer, that's okay as well. So what we're going to do with the wood in a minute, we're going to chuck a little bit straight in the gravity fed at the top. That's going to burn off quite quick. That'll throw a heap of flavour in there and do what it needs to do. I'm also going to put a little bit down in the ash catch down the bottom. Now what will happen is as the ash is dropping down, it'll just burn that off, but it'll be quite slow, so it works out well. So let's chuck it on. Got a little rib rack. We'll chuck that in today. Just sit our ribs in like so. Now I was talking about that fat before. Going to do a little bit of beef crackle, so I've just chucked some SPG on the top of that. I'm going to just sit that in the little hot spots and we'll see if we can get some crackle as well. We'll chuck that on. We've got our spritz, like I said. We're only going to do this at the start. We don't need to do it anymore. Spritz. And there, that'll just help the bark. And that's about it, guys. We'll chuck that down. We're going to give that 2 hours at 180, and then we'll come back later and we'll see how it's going. Let's see how we're traveling. Oh, looks amazing. Smells even better. Oh, check out these little beef crackles. They've shrank down to not much. They'll still taste awesome though. We'll give them another little bit. But that's looking good. Be back in an hour. All right. All right, guys, couple of hours in. She's looking pretty good. We're going to grab some foil and we're going to wrap it up. So we're going to do 2 layers of some good foil. Alright, there we go. Try not to pierce through. We want to keep that as sealed as possible. But the second layer of foil will help us with that, so it's okay. Just going to wrap that nice and tight. Second layer here. The same thing, we're just making sure that we're not piercing through that foil, keeping that nice and sealed. Alright, nice and neat. And we're going to give that another hour at 180, and we'll come back and we'll check it from there. Alright, that's been an hour fully wrapped, guys. I've snuck on some potato bake as well. Obviously, got to have some sides. It's not healthy at all, but it's bloody delicious. What we want to do here, you don't have to always completely unwrap it, but what we're looking for here is we want to make sure she's probing tender and not grabbing at all. So we're pretty much spot on here. You just want it to go in and out like a hot knife in butter. If it does, you know you're on the money. That's not grabbing at all, so pretty happy with that. And the bark's actually retained pretty well. If the bark has suffered, which it sometimes does when you wrap, and we might just do it, we'll just bring it up a little bit. We're just going to wrap that around. We'll just boat it. And we'll probably just give that about 20 minutes or so. And that'll just bring that bark back. And that'll be enough. That'll be plenty, and then we'll be ready to go. All right. All done. Looking nice and ready. That bark's reset, which is good. So we're going to just rest those now for probably about 20 minutes, half an hour. In the meantime, we'll let our potato bake finish and be ready for dinner. Ready to rock and roll. Let's check out these shorties. We've got a nice smoke ring. They're super tender. Look at that, guys. Like, it's just separating. So hopefully taste as good as they look. All right, all finished. Let's give it a road test and see how good it is. Hopefully delicious. Very good. Get that then to you guys. All right, we talked about that beef crackle before. Here it is. It's only pretty small bits, but looks pretty good. Let's see what it tastes like. Hopefully it's crackly. Super rich. Very airy. So probably unlike a pork crackle, it's quite dense. It's nice. It's good. Beef crackle.